Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court and the Senate Ethics Report. So, Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee released a report on the ethical situation over at the Supreme Court. It doesn't paint a pretty picture. To set the tone, we'll take a look at a statement from the Senate Judiciary Chair, Dick Durbin. Quote, "Now, more than ever before, as a result of information gathered by subpoenas, we know the extent to which the Supreme Court is mired in an ethical crisis of its own making. Whether failing to disclose lavish gifts or failing to recuse from cases with apparent conflicts of interest, it's clear that the justices are losing the trust of the American people at the hands of a gaggle of fawning billionaires." The report is 95 pages. There's some new stuff, but it mostly details a lot of stuff we already know, thanks to the reporting from ProPublica, which, if you're not reading, you should probably add it to your information menu. Once the news broke, the court did eventually adopt an ethics code, which was immediately panned as being irrelevant because it lacks an enforcement mechanism. The report calls for Congress to provide a code of ethics for the court, complete with an independent review panel, saying, quote, "An enforceable code of conduct for the Supreme Court is essential in light of the court's failure to police itself." It's worth remembering that back in June, Democrats led an attempt to adopt the Supreme Court Ethics, Recusal, and Transparency Act. A floor vote was blocked by Republicans after they refused to pass it via unanimous consent. The legislation would have mandated the Supreme Court to create a code of ethics with an enforcement mechanism that would have had lower court judges review complaints. In addition to the gifts from the incredibly wealthy that drew a lot of media attention, the report also draws attention to situations when there was an apparent conflict of interest that did not lead to a recusal. It also blasted the administrative side of the court for failing to enforce financial disclosure requirements. Durbin has been unrelenting on this issue, saying, quote, "The highest court in the land can't have the lowest ethical standards. So long as Chief Justice Roberts and the Judicial Conference refuse to act, we must push for a legislative solution to this crisis to restore trust in the highest court." Since Republicans are set to take control of the committee in January, this is likely to be the conclusion of the official conversation about it for quite some time. The odds of any legislative fix over the next 2 years is near zero. The report could be summarized with the quote, "To date, the Judicial Conference has failed to adequately respond to the Supreme Court's ethical crisis." So, where does that leave us on this issue? The story isn't over. It'll come back up when the Democratic Party has majorities in the House and Senate. Until then, this show is on break. Season 1 was anticlimactic, but I feel like past is prologue in this case. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.